And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
The Pursuit of Happiness is a game that's essentially about life. It's like Life the Euro game, or Life, but actually a good game inside, it might be called. The interesting thing about The Pursuit of Happiness is it's an extremely fun game, and yet I don't know that I win or will win very often, or even care, because you get so caught up in what you're doing in the game. You're creating a story for your life. Well, here we have an expansion, The Pursuit of Happiness Community. This adds community projects, other things you can get involved with. It's really not that much different than what's already in the game. It's just another way to get more stuff into this game and add to it. Is that addition okay? Do we want this addition? Let's check it out. Okay, so the main thing that this game adds is another board. I should mention that they add more of everything else. So we have some more life goals, we have some more people, we have more things to get involved with, a singing festival, a domino show, more jobs that you can be, and more things. You want an arcade, or do you want a fancy watch? Why would I want a Rolex when I can have an iWatch? Okay, anyway. So these are things that, they're just more cards to shuffle in. But the main new thing, besides a fifth player, gray, woo, the main new thing here is the community board. So the community board is placed underneath the main board or above, it doesn't really matter. And everyone's going to start with no popularity, unless you get the, there's one of the new kid traits, you can start with 1 popularity. Each player is going to get a meeple here. This is a way to be involved in the community. So on your turn, instead of putting out your hourglasses, you can put out your meeple instead and get involved in one of these community projects. Now, community projects are either a single person one, or they're almost always single person, but some of them are group, and it will show you icons at the top. So if I go to the game tournament, no one else go to the game tournament. When you go there, you have to engage. Some of them, like helping this person that's drowning, there's no engagement cost. You just put your person there to help them. Some, there's a cost. So to get involved in the game tournament, I need to pay a coin. To join the community choir, I need, I guess, apparently to be able to sing a little bit. And to go to the office party, I need to have a job. You will immediately get a reward sometimes, like for example, no one can beat me. I pay a gold, and I get 2 of the light bulbs there. So you can get some immediate things, but you can also place these hourglasses on these to take them, but you can only do that according to your popularity. So at the beginning of the game, you can't do it at all. So if I'm at 2, I can put out 2 hourglasses. The higher your popularity, the more things you can get involved with in your community. Now, at the end of a round, after you've done everything else, before you pull everything off of here, each person who is on one, so let's say the red player helps someone who's drowning, can pick one of the outcomes. So they can just call lifeguard. Doesn't cost anything, but they get a star here, long-term happiness. They can bring the person to shore, but it requires a little bit of training, and there they get a long-term happiness, and they move up one on the popularity track. Or they can perform first aid. Pretty much need to know how to do that, and then you get more benefits. And so each of them is going to have these things on here. So you can see here, if I win the tournament, first place, it's going to really require me to study, but I'm going to get a popularity 3 points and one of those. If I'm the life and soul of the party, I might get some short-term happiness out of the deal, some long-term happiness and popularity. And so each one's going to be very different. In fact, some could be, like if you have a nosy neighbor here, I can actually lose a popularity for short-term happiness. Or just go over and talk to them. So why do you want popularity? Well, for one thing, I already mentioned you get to put out more things on community. But at the end of every turn, wherever you are in popularity, that's how much long-term happiness you get. So if you're here, you get 2 points. Then you have to go back 1. So you're never going to be able to stay super popular. You're always going to be moving back. So that's pretty much how the game works. It just adds an extra board. The board itself folds up pretty easily and fits underneath the main board. Let's take a look. There's a lot of different community cards that are in here. We got a yard sale, a safety seminar, donate blood, citywide treasure hunt, Halloween, a new family next door, invite them to dinner, And it doesn't happen these days very often. Black Friday. Oh, you want it all. You can buy multiple items when using the spend action. Whoa, it's all exciting. Charity fundraising. Your friend's car broke down. You can play the lottery. I guess this is kind of weird. You can play the lottery and you can win, but only if your current long-term happiness ends in a 5. Outcome 1 didn't win. Outcome 2 didn't win. So there's a lot of different. A blind date is an interesting one because you can meet somebody if you don't have a partner and end up with a partner at second level, which is kind of a really cool end result to that. So you're never quite sure. A lot of them are just give you stuff for other things, but some of them have some more interesting things than that. Relatives visiting. I wish she called first. Oh, there it goes. Annoying. But as time goes by, you can get your short-term happiness back. But the stress from relatives visiting, I think that's funny. All right, well, let's go to final thoughts. Well, there you have it. The Pursuit of Happiness community. It's a not essential expansion, right? You can have fun playing the game without it. It just adds more story. It adds a little bit more time. It also adds a 5th player, and I think in games like this, you should never play with 5 players. It's already a fairly lengthy game with 4. 5th player just adds too much time to the game, I think. But it's there if you want it. So that part I'm not so keen on, but I do like the community part. Again, it doesn't feel that different than everything else. In fact, because you can put out an extra guy, like I said earlier, it adds a little bit more time to the game. You actually have another worker, which is a little, if you're teaching someone Pursuit of Happiness for the first time, it's a little confusing. They're like, okay, so this is not a timer, this is just another person I could put up on the card. Sure. So why would you not? So everyone's being involved in the community. You have to be involved in the community. Why would you not? It's free resources. It will actually make life a little easier being involved in the community. A lesson, I think, is here. The things that you can help with range from things where it's a problem, someone's drowning or the neighbor's too loud, to some group event you can be part of. But either way, they're entertaining and they tell a story. And in fact, in one game we played, it was a really funny story because I was getting close to the end of my years. I'd never married. I didn't have time for a wife. I was too busy with my career, and I went on a blind date in my old and golden years and ended up getting married. So, that's funny. That's right. That's a fun story to tell later on. And we had a good time with this. And as we play it with community, with Pursuit of Happiness, we realized just how much we get focused on the story of the game over the mechanisms. This is pretty much the same thing. This isn't going to suddenly make Pursuit of Happiness this amazing game. Pursuit of Happiness is a decent game with a really fun theme. And this adds even more of that theme into it. So I don't think you need community. It definitely adds more fun and more options. So why not? That's Pursuit of Happiness community. I'm going to go win a game tournament now. Like I ever win. Dice Tower Judgment approved!